How can you take analysis paralysis, chuck it out the window, and replace it with consistent, repeatable action? You all know that you want to do it, and that's what we're talking about here with Mike Mandel.
There you go. Overthinking is a major problem for a lot of people. Overanalysis, and it holds people back.
What do you mean by that?
They don't get started. And it's the same as overanalyzing. It's all the same thing. And the phrase that I love is analysis paralysis, where, oh, I have to do this. I've got to clean up my entire house because I'm moving, or I've got to do this. Well, maybe it'll be this, and I should think about that. And what if? And it just holds you absolutely stuck still instead of getting started and getting the ball rolling.
I'll actually give you a really good example that you're looking at right now, so this won't take but a moment. Do you remember when we were using a different background?
Yes.
And I proposed, I said, you know, I really like to change the look of our studio. And
buy expensive
I
wood.
have an idea, that we could put up, I considered maybe using real wood. That's wallpaper behind us.
Giving it away.
But I wanted to do, a little floating shelf, maybe a fake plant, maybe some lighting shining on the wall, all this stuff that I hadn't decided. So I just thought, well, what do I actually want to do with the wall? Let's just start there. It'll still look better than what we had, and we can incrementally grow from there.
Brilliant.
Which we haven't yet, but at least I got freaking started. And instead of analysis paralysis, which I was stuck with, I just did the first thing, which was buy the wallpaper and put up the darn wallpaper.
And this is important. It's making that step, because overanalysis is self-perpetuating. Because when you analyze more and more, guess what happens? It puts more stuff on the table to analyze.
Yeah.
And so it just grows and grows like a big ball of tape or something. And you have to break out of that. And the reason for this is interesting. When I looked into this, it said the cause is fear in disguise.
I think that makes sense, because we're afraid of screwing up or making a decision that we can't go back on.
Yeah.
And actually, I think we talked about Tim Ferriss in the last video that we did on this, but he, in his book, The 4-Hour Workweek, described, I think he called it fear lining, because you have the idea of dream lining, like dreaming out what you want. I think
right.
Fear lining was the title. Anyway, the idea of it is decide, okay, if you were to do X, how bad would the pain possibly be if X didn't work out well? And also, how permanent would it be?
Oh,
and usually you do the math intuitively in your head and just go, well, actually, it's kind of like, okay, I might be really embarrassed, and that might be an 8. Well, how permanent is that? And you go,
really at all.
It's like a 0.
Yeah.
It's not even a 1. Because
that's right.
It says it's nothing. And then you go, oh, well, that kind of stops you from analysis paralysis, because you very quickly defined it as there's no freaking meaningful consequence of screwing up.
No, nothing will happen, which is one of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen. And one of the causes of this, the fear thing, is perfectionism. If you think you have to do something perfectly, you won't do it, because you can never get it. The only thing you can do perfectly is
nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
I can perfectly sit here on this couch and let my life be a complete waste.
But it's true. I mustn't make any mistakes. What if I do this incorrectly? Oh, I better be sure before I start.
Yeah.
And if you just jump in, there might be bad consequences. And there's a great example here. Students who watch others work online because they aren't ready to jump in and do it. When we look at the practice rooms.
Like in the MMHA.
Yeah. When we're working with the elite group and people turn their camera off and just want to watch the others.
Yeah.
Because, well, what if I don't do a good job? And what if people laugh? Or what if I'm stupid? But jumping in is what sets people free from that.
Well, actually, that's a really good point that you brought up, the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy, which I recognize many of you watching are not members of the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy, but that's our flagship online hypnosis training and certification program. And we have practice rooms for a very specific reason, because in the past, people would say, oh, well, I'm watching the videos, but I don't have anyone to practice with. I don't live near anyone that I can practice with, or my friends are all thinking this is weird or whatever. And so, hey, we'll come on into the Zoom rooms and we'll, set them up, facilitated hours. People are still hesitant, even though we'd give them really ridiculously easy activities.
Yes.
It could just be something
stress,
like playing
no
with
pressure.
hypnotic language cards. And still people will hesitate. Yet those who jump in and go, you know what?
And yet.
I'm just going to do this. And even if I sound like a fool in the beginning, and they don't, they think they do, but then they go, wow, you know what? 2 weeks later?
Yeah. They're
this
just
is
rocking
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like nobody crashes and burns doing this stuff. Nobody. You might not do as well as you wanted to, but that means you're progressing. You've jumped in, you're in the water. You can't jump in and swim an Olympic level first time you're in a pool.
Right.
You have to get in the pool, though, to do it.
Yeah.
And I think part of this is really interesting. the whole concept of changing your operating system in your mind to a new core operating system, which is defaulting a bias to action.
Right.
So when there's something to be done, the new bias is get started on it, jump in right away.
Right. So what can people do maybe to make that mental switch from the default being, oh, I got to analyze this, to the default being maybe something like, before I analyze anything, I must take some action.
Yes, you analyze what action you're going to take if you're not careful. But you're right.
Started.
You're right. And the key is, here's the simple tools. Don't wait to be ready.
Right.
You'll never be ready. There's no such thing as being ready. You'd already have it all done. So don't wait to be ready. Just start immediately and make adjustments as you go. It doesn't mean you've committed to one course of action and you can never change it. It's a train on tracks going on. Like, no, you're going to change as you go. Make the adjustments. Decide to trust your own ability. You'll like this one, to course correct, to make the corrections.
Yeah.
Believe you can do it. And ask, here's the best one for me. What is the smallest useful step I can take right now? See, there's no waiting.
I love that.
Small. So it's so small, there's no stress.
I love that, because I was just thinking when you were saying this, and I'm being very careful. We're getting better on these videos, at least, of not interrupting as much as we would on the podcast. But if you can decide what that smallest useful step is, like you just said, that makes me think, what is the one part of this that I don't need to analyze because I'm already certain of being the correct path? You can break a problem down into parts that you're certain of and that you're uncertain of.
Right.
You can do the uncertain stuff after, but the parts that you're certain about, change those now. Those can be those smallest useful steps.
Absolutely.
So that's the challenge, I think.
Get started.
Get started. And in the comments, I'm always going to say this at the end of these videos, let us know in the comments. The best way that you can actually improve your life is by making a public comment about what you're planning to do, what you learned, what you took away from this video. And I think that would be really useful for you.
Because then you'll be consistent with it.
It's great for us to get engagement on the videos, but it's better for you to engage by letting people know and letting yourself know what you're going to do to make your life better.
Brilliant.
When it comes to defaulting to action. So analysis paralysis was the old problem. You chuck that out the door. You default to immediate action using the smallest possible step that you know you can take.
Possible useful step.
Right.
Yeah, and the smallest possible is so easy to do. Guess what it does? It gets you started. And then just keep going.
All right. Enjoy it. Let us know in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks again and good night.